The NFL season simulation. Week number 4 of the NFL 2014 season. The 2-1 Packers, the 2-1 Bears. The inaugural NFC North is up for grabs this week as Jay Cutler returns from injury in this contest. You gotta go, as Jimmy Clausen played masterfully though, subbing in for the injured Cutler. First quarter, the Bears get the football to start the game, and they travel down the field. From a drive that started for their own 20, Cutler would hit Martellus Bennett on a pass that goes inside the 5 down to the 1-yard line, and Chicago ends up scoring a touchdown. They lead by 7. The first drive for Green Bay on a 2nd down and long, following a Rodgers sack. It's another sack as Lamar Houston is in there for the quarterback pressure, and the Bears end up tacking on another touchdown to lead by 14. Now Chicago has to play some defense. Green Bay on a long drive down the field to cut up into this lead. He completes to Andrew Corliss, and on a 1st and goal from the 1-yard line, Eddie Lacy pounds it in for a 1-yard touchdown plunge. The Packers, they trail, but only by a score. It's 14-7 Chicago now. And following a Packers field goal, it's only a 4-point game. Cutler to start the third, back to throw, and right into the hands of Sam Shields for the interception. It's the first Green Bay Packers interception all season. It comes with 3 minutes to go here in the 3rd quarter. Aaron Rodgers gets hurt, so Matt Flynn checks into the game, and on the 3rd and long, the pass is too high, intended for Rodgers, and they'll end up settling for a field goal, which would end up being no good. Mason Crosby, one of his first misses of the season. Now the Packers had to play defense, and they did. Casey Hayward, though, is called for a pass interference, and that keeps the Chicago drive alive. A crucial penalty made as that pass was airmailed out of bounds. Nobody would have caught it anyways. 3rd and 2, the pass is caught by Josh Morgan, moved the chains, and on another 3rd down, Cutler fires. He's got Bennett, but that play goes just short of the marker as the tight end cuts upfield. He got 6, but he needed 7. So at the end of 3 quarters, the Bears lead 17-10, and it sets up a wild 4th quarter here in Chicago. Aaron Rodgers on a 1st and 10 looking. He goes long, and it's incomplete, but there's another flag. This time Tim Jennings is the guilty party, and they'll end up calling a 45-yard penalty on Tim Jennings of the Chicago Bears. This is a team that has struggled all season long in the penalty department. Moved the chains for the Green Bay Packers. So on a 3rd and goal, Aaron Rodgers fires too high for James Stark, setting up a 4th and goal. They'll go for it. Rodgers looking, and it's intercepted by the guy who was penalized earlier. That is Tim Jennings in the end zone, and the Packers come up empty. They still trail by a touchdown. Now under 3 minutes to go here in the 4th quarter, and Josh Morgan completes what is a long pass down the field. That is 50 yards down the near sideline. A huge play by that Chicago offense, setting up a 2nd down and 1 from the 5 with 2 minutes to play, and Matt Forte punches it in for 6, his first rushing touchdown of the season. And now the Bears lead by 14. And the Packers have a shot here, but very minimal time remaining, is on a 4th down and 5. This is the game. Rodgers fires long, and it's caught out of bounds. And that is your NFC North Week 4 dagger, as the Packers fall to 2-2 on the season. Meanwhile, Chicago improves to an extremely impressive 3-1. They lead the NFC North after 3 weeks. Meanwhile, the Packers stars, that is Lacy and Nelson, subpar performances for them. The Dallas Cowboys come into this one at 0-3 on the season. They take on an extremely tough 2-1 Saints ball club, where the Cowboys, last time they started 0-3 was back in 2001. Ryan Leaf was their quarterback to finish the year. He later would retire. Meanwhile, the Dallas Cowboys don't want their starting quarterback to retire, but he certainly had a real tough scenario up in front of him, as Marcus Colston catches what is his 8th reception, and that one goes for 6. A touchdown for the Saints, and they lead 19-6 in the 4th quarter. Romo, a subpar performance today for him. Meanwhile, DeMarco Murray on a 4th and 5 with the game on the line. He breaks a tackle and scores for the Cowboys. It is a 72-yard scamper for 6. And the Dallas Cowboys, they're still into this one. It's 19-13 now. The Saints still on top. Following the kickoff, New Orleans can seal it on the offensive end. 3rd down and 2. Breeze goes long and completes to Jimmy Graham, who leads the Saints in receiving, but good news turns to bad news. Grapes to vinegar, as that is Jimmy Graham, who's down and hurt. And the injury report states that, yes, he'll be back next week. in the Week 5 contest the Saints have. So they win. They're 3-1 on the season. Drew Brees a very good day in the office. Meanwhile, Tony Romo continues to struggle for the Dallas Cowboys this season. They are now 0-4 and are definitely on the outside looking in the NFC East. Two teams that can make their mark atop the NFC East, though, are the 1-2 Giants and the undefeated 3-0 Washington Redskins. They're one of only 3 teams, the Redskins are, without a loss in the 2014 campaign. Will Washington lose this one? Well, early on they were behind before Jordan Reed midway through the second, but ends up injuring his knee, and the injury report states that he'll be out for the next 2 weeks for the Washington Redskins. A big blow by that Redskin offensive unit. He was the security blanket for Robert Griffin. Now 1st and 10, Griffin fires and it's intercepted by one of the best safeties in the league. That is on trail roll with a pick, and he takes it all the way down to the 25-yard line. The Giants with a crucial play on defense, and the Redskins are scoreless on the offensive red zone opportunity. Now 2nd and 10, following an Eli Manning drive, he hoists it over the middle and it's caught. That's the tight end Kellen Davis, who had a very good day today. Meanwhile, Manning in the red zone is sacked again, and the Giants only have 3 field goals to show for 3 opportunities inside the 20. It's all tied at 9 midway through the third before Alfred Morris busts off a huge play across that far sideline. He would only have one big play, but that would give the Redskins the lead. It's a 55-yard touchdown scamper. The Redskins lead 16-9 here late in the third quarter at FedEx Field. This is Landover, Maryland. 1st and 10 now. On the very next play, a typical New York Giants comeback as Odell Beckham, a man that you should hear early and often in the National Football League. He catches for 63 yards on his only reception of the day. It led to a Giants 1-yard touchdown, and it's all tied at 16 here early in the fourth quarter. 1st and 10 now from the 41-yard line. Handoff goes to Morris, and he breaks across midfield and starting what is a real nice drive for Washington. But on 3rd and 1, Alfred Morris fumbles the football. He had a shot for the first, but instead is Jason Pierre-Paul who's there for the recovery, his first on the season. And the New York Giants defense continues to make huge plays down in the red zone. Now the New York offense has to take advantage. 3rd down, Eli is sacked. That is Ryan Kerrigan who's in there to apply the pressure against the right tackle, Beatty. He just beat him like a drum on that one. It's still 16-all here at Landover. Now under 3 minutes to go, and the Redskins have a nice drive down the field. 3rd down and 6. Griffin looking, swings in underneath. It's caught by Roberts, who cuts upfield for the first. Move the chains for the Redskins. Next 3rd down and 1. Morris, the same exact cutback move. It's not a fumble, but still short of the first down. The Giants force a field goal, and it's 16-19, the Redskins lead. Now the ensuing kickoff is recovered by Wilson out to the 20, to the 30, and he's gone as nobody's going to catch him. When he's even, he's leaving. All the way home, 100 yards for the touchdown. The first return for the season for the Giants couldn't come at a better time. Now New York has a 4-point advantage here, and the Redskins have to travel the distance in order to come back in this game. Their 3-0 start is on the line. 2nd and 10. There goes Robert Griffin to kickstart what is a very significant drive for the Redskins, but he would be down and hurt and would miss the remainder of the game with a knee injury. A crucial blow there by the Washington Redskins. Now Kirk Cousins has to check onto the field. There goes Andre Roberts across midfield into enemy territory. 2nd and 10 now. This Redskin drive continues with another great play. That is not the starting tight end, but Paulson, the backup. Now on a 2nd and 10 going end zone, but it's dropped by Deshaun Jackson, who would have a subpar day. Now 3rd and 10. Cousins at the same corner of the end zone, but Leonard Hankerson brings it down, and it's good for the score. The Redskins take a 29-26 lead on a big-time play to Leonard Hankerson of all receivers. 26-23. Washington has the lead with 2 seconds to go, and John Connor tries the best he can to score again for the Giants on the kickoff, but no sir, the Redskins pull ahead and they win 26-23. Kirk Cousins 4 of 7, 50 yards and a touchdown on that game-winning drive. Washington is now 4-0 in the early going of the 2014 season and hold at least a 2-game lead over the Eagles and the Giants. Meanwhile, New York falls to 1-3. Philadelphia in the final game for the NFC East today take on the 2-1 San Francisco 49ers. And as you take a look at the NFC East standings, the Eagles can claim second place in that division with the win here today. They take on no slouch. It is the 2-1 Niners where they're trying to claim the second spot in the NFC West as well. But early on, Philadelphia doing exactly what they've done the last 2 weeks. They hold a 7-0 lead in the early stages. Meanwhile, on 3rd and 10, Michael Crabtree kickstarts what has been a real nice start to the season for him. He finishes the day with, that's right, that is 7 catches for 137 yards and a touchdown. A huge play by Michael Crabtree, an 82-yard score for him. 13-7 now. Mark Sanchez checks in for an injured Nick Foles. Don't worry, he will return next week. Meanwhile, Sanchez with his first and only touchdown, but a huge play by the Eagles. They lead 20-7 here on the road. Meanwhile, Jordan Matthews, the rookie, fumbles the football. It's picked up by Jimmy Smith, and he's got it for the takeaway. San Francisco doing exactly what every opponent of the Eagles season has done. They slowly rally back into this one, and that would be the case on a 1st and goal from the 5. As Vernon Davis catches, he's in. Touchdown Niners, his second score of the season. And the Niners pull to within 6 as Kaepernick, subpar performance, but does have the score that puts the Niners within 1 possession. Meanwhile, Jeremy Maclin kickstarts a big day for him as well, as on a 1st and goal, LaShawn McCoy's in the end zone. Touchdown Eagles, at least they pull ahead by 14 as the 2-point conversion would be good, and bad turns the worst for San Francisco in this one, following a 14-point deficit. Kaepernick fires to Stevie Johnson in what has been a real tough month for the former Buffalo Bill. He fumbles the football. It's recovered by the Eagles, and Philadelphia, off of a very tough loss last week to the Redskins, they come back with a 17-point win over what is no slouch in the NFL, the San Francisco 49ers. Foles will return next week against the Rams, and boy, we can see Philadelphia actually go above 500 the first time they do all season. A rundown of the remaining games as the Patriots at 2-1 take on the 1-2 Kansas City Chiefs. As early on, the Patriots score a touchdown, but the Chiefs crawl back into this one as Smith finds his tight end Fasano for the 3rd time this year. Touchdown Kansas City, it's all tied at 7. The Smith to Fasano combination has paid huge dividends for Kansas City this season. We are tied at 7. Now 1st quarter here to start the 3rd, and typical New England Patriots style as Brandon LaFell rips the defense for 60 yards down the far sideline, and the Patriots end up scoring a touchdown. Now 20-17 late in the 4th quarter. Kansas City can crawl back to 500 with a touchdown on this possession. We're down to under 30 seconds to go. It's a 1st down, but taking way too much time is the Kansas City Chiefs. Now another 1st down is complete, and that puts the Chiefs near midfield, but they still need a lot of yardage and no time flat. As on a 3rd down, Smith nearly throws an interception, but there's still 2 ticks to go. So Kansas City needs to go deep to the end zone. Pass rush coming. Smith throws off his back foot, and it's nowhere near the intended targets. The meat of the Chiefs' schedule has been in the first 4 weeks, and they have played every team extremely tough. Kansas City, though, they'll play another tough opponent, the 2-2 Niners. Meanwhile, the Patriots play the Bengals next week. Carolina and Baltimore face off, 2 division-leading ball clubs. Early on, the Panthers lead by 7 and will tack on another score to that lead as D'Angelo Williams scores, and he's untouched in the end zone. What happened to that Baltimore defense? And same can be said with the offensive unit. As safety, as Ray Rice, nowhere to be found other than in his own end zone on that one. Meanwhile, on a 1st and 10, Cam Newton shows them how to play some offense. Greg Olsen in the end zone, and he continues what has been a fantastic month throwing the football, as he has yet to throw an interception on the season. Fantastic statistic for him, and Carolina averages 31 points per game on the offensive end. Taking a look at the Week 4 schedule, it wasn't an exciting week of action. Meanwhile, some pivotal Week 4 matchups did take place. The Bears defeated the Packers and lead the division. Meanwhile, the Texans, the inaugural 1st sack of the season for Jadeveon Clowney. The Texans blow out the Bills to go to 2-2 in the AFC South. Meanwhile, the Steelers defeat the Buccaneers in a pivotal game. They're back to 2-2 and have a chance to lead the division. The Eagles defeat the Niners, and the Vikings upset the Falcons. As we take a look at the overall standings now, And after week 4, we don't have too many surprises, but we'll start down in the bottom left-hand corner. The Vikings take on the Packers in Lambeau Field. A surprising 3-1 start for Minnesota, though. They could lead the division with a win and a Bears loss. A game that everybody will be watching next week, the 3-0 Seahawks and the 4-0 Redskins. Only one team will remain unbeaten after that Week 5 contest. Who will it be? Tune in next week. Chicago, who leads the NFC North at 3-1, take on the 4-0 Panthers, and will Carolina improve to 5-0? It's in Charlotte and should come down to the wire. The Ravens have slipped up the last few weeks. They still lead the division by a half game. They'll take on the 3-1 Indianapolis Colts, who also lead the division by 1 game. And last but not least, the 3-1 New York Jets take on the 2-2 Chargers. That's to be a much-watched game as San Diego tries to crawl back in the AFC West. The most valuable players through week number 4 of the season include Cam Newton, who's had a really nice start to the year, and Frank Gore, who had an unreal first 3 weeks of the season. Also throw in Jarius Byrd, a former Buffalo Bill, who's had a great start to the 2014 campaign. Make sure to tune back in next week, as there will be some must-watch games in the NFL Week 5 edition of the 2014 season simulation. Thank you all for joining us. Make sure to tune in a week from today.